Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadha Shivasti Gaura Bhakta Binda. Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Monday. It is 5th of May. It is Madhusudana Masa or Vaishaka Masa, Sukla Paksham, and Navami today. So there are three Vaishnava events today in the calendar. The first event is the appearance day of Srimati Radharani, concert of Shri Lord Ramchandra. Second event is appearance day of Shri Jahnavi Mata, concert of Nityananda Prabhu. And third event is disappearance day of Madhu Pandit, uh, in front of whom Gopinatha has been manifested. So these are the three events. So we shall read a few lines from it's from T.com about each event. So about Srimati Sita Devi is there is a lot of information on this platform. I try to summarize as much as possible. Srimati Sita Devi is the daughter of the earth goddess Bhumi Devi and the central figure of the Ramayana. In Maharishi Valmiki's own words, Ramayana is known as the noble story of Sita. Sitayaha Charitam Mahat. Her glories are sung by the poet saint Tyagaraja in his Shri Janakatayani. Janakatayani, O daughter of Janaka, the blessed refuge of souls, O consort of Shri Raghurama, bedecked with shining gem ornaments, pray, protect me always. You are the wind that destroys the clouds of demons like the hundred-headed Ravana. You are the indweller in the hearts of the devotees. Your feet shine with the luster of gems set in the crown of Indra. King Janaka was the wise and benevolent king of Janakapuri, and although a great saintly king, he was childless. Rajashi, a king who lives like a sage. That was how King Janaka of Videha dynasty was renowned. He ruled over the kingdom of Mithila. He looked upon his people with love and affection. The finding of Sita Devi in a casket, in a basket in the earth. Janaka Maharaj was plowing a piece of land and then to prepare it for conducting a yajna, spiritual sacrifice. He, under, he unearthed a golden casket in which he found a beautiful girl and was overjoyed. A land plowed by the yoke is called Sita. And so he named the baby as Sita. Okay, so here the bull name which was used to plow the land, the bull name was, or it is said, yoke. A land plowed by the yoke is called Sita, and so he named the baby as Sita. So with the arrival of the baby, the king's good luck appeared to soar up. His queen also gave birth to a daughter who was named Urmila. The royal couple brought up the children with great affection. They gave them a good education. The two beautiful girls, by their noble qualities, good behavior, and intelligence, endeared themselves to one and all and grew to become ideal princesses. Sita grew up and played in the palace of Janakaraj. She became well known for her beauty as well as her devotion. She could often be seen absorbed in the deity of the lord of the Surya Vamsha. She would, when her own, sometimes lovingly enact the pastimes of various forms of the Lord and relish his pastimes. In this way, she revealed to those close to her that she was no ordinary young girl. Her fame, like her beauty, became well known, and soon it was time for her to be betrothed, betrothed and then married. As with the Kshatriya kings of those days, Janaka organized that all the worthy kings and princes would come. There would be a challenge for her hand, and the victor would become her husband. The story goes that one day, revered sage Parashurama came to visit King Janaka. He carried a bow with him. He left it at the doorstep of the royal hall and went inside. Sita saw the bow, ran it to, and began playing with it it as if it was a play horse. Only those with great physical strength and daring could lift it and handled the Vaishnava bow. When Parashurama came out, the bow was missing. Ordinary persons could not lift it with ease, and he, curiously looking around, spotted Sita playing with it as if it was a play horse. The sage and the king were astonished. The great sage Parashurama, who is a partial incarnation, Siktavesh avatar of Vishnu, then blessed Sita and said to King Janaka, "My dear king, only a great and strong person can wed this girl of such capacity. Arrange a Swayamvara where the brides choose their spouses for their prowess for her, and let most suitable person in the three worlds uh, marry her." In course of time, Sita and Urmila attained maturity. King Janaka possessed a bow said to have been blessed by Lord Shiva. It was a great bow, and the king decided to marry off his daughter to one who could lift it and change its arrow. So he prepared for a Swayamvara. The challenge is sent out. The man who conquers the Shiva bow weds Sita. And so all manner of qualified princes and Vanables came from all over the world. But how to find such a heroic young man to wed such a girl? Many noble princes from several kingdoms came aspiring for the hand of the beautiful damsel Sita, but they were awed by the mighty bow and saluting it turned away. Sage Vishwamitra, accompanied by his disciples Rama and Lakshmana, arrived at Mithila. The princess sons of renowned King Dasharatha, had conquered many demons, Rakshasas. King Janaka felt glad at their arrival. Vishwamitra told Rama, "Dear Ramachandra, pray to Lord Shiva and take to the bow." Sri Rama bowed to Vishwamitra and offered his respects. He then prayed for the grace of Lord Shiva, went and raised the bow with ease and thrust an arrow. As he bent the bow, it broke. Sita Devi came and garlanded him and accepted him as her husband. The news reached King Dasharatha, who rushed to Mithila with his entourage. The marriage of Rama and Sita Devi was solemnized in a grand manner. So that is the marriage of Sita Devi and Ramachandra. Uh, so there is lots of information further. Uh, it takes around another 15 minutes to read it. I couldn't move my reading. Just it was so beautiful. Okay, so I stopped there, and we know later on Sita Devi accompanied Ramachandra, and then later on, just before the Ramachandra's coronation, Kaikeyi's two boons that Dasharatha to send Ramachandra to the forest and make Bharata as the king. Later on, once Ramchandra and Sita Devi, Lakshmana, those three went to the forest for the Aranyavasa for the 14 years. There in the forest, they have killed so many Rakshasas. During that time, they have come across the Surpanaka as well. And Surpanaka was enchanted with the beauty of Ramchandra and wanted to marry him. But as Ramchandra rejected her, so she wanted to take revenge. And later on, Lakshmana punished her. She went to Ravanasura and he informed in a different way. She has entirely related a entirely different story that she wanted to get Sita to Ravanasura and she was describing about Sita. So entirely different story. It's a wrong story to Ravanasura. Ravanasura was enchanted with the beauty of Sita, and then he came disguised as a beggar asking for alms. And then during that time, in the absence of Ramchandra and Lakshmana, so he has induced Sita to come out of the line that Lakshmana has drawn. And then later on, he has taken Sita to Lanka. So during the time, Sita Mat has dropped her bangles down, so which were collected by Hanuman, and then he gave it to Sugriva, so they have preserved it. And later on, when Rama and Lakshmana, so they were searching for Sita, so they have come to the point. Uh, to the Sugriva, and they have made the friendship with Sugriva. Of course, there are many other events, that killing of Vali, all those things later on. Uh, so Sugriva sent Hanuman to search for Sita. So Hanuman found Sita in the Lanka. There, Ramachandra, with the help of the Samudra and all the Vanaras, he constructed a bridge and crossed the ocean, and then he has killed Ramchandra, and then he has got back Sita Devi again. And Sita Devi, there are so many glories of Sita Devi. They were described in the Sundarakanda, how beautiful her heart is, and how beautiful Hanuman heart is, and their character is. That is Sundarakanda. Sundara is the beauty. So one entire Kanda was allocated for to explain the qualities of Sita Devi and Hanuman. And then later on, there was again the test with the fire set, the fire Agni Pariksha. Likewise, because Sita Mata was there for a year period, and then she has entered into the fire and came out as pure as she was before. And then Ramchandra accepted and then taken back to the Ayodhya and the Pushpaka Vimana. So there they were installed as the king and queen. And then within the 2 years of time, so due to the words of a washerman, so Ramchandra has sent Sita back to again to the forest where Sita Mata was stayed in the Valmiki ashrama. During the time Sita Mata was pregnant, so once she went to the forest there, she gave birth to the Lava and Kusha, the two twin children. And then later on, when they are growing up, Ramchandra, so there Sita Mata was performing all austerities, and here Ramchandra is also performing austerities. Though he was a king, it was the time that Ramchandra know somewhere other through the messengers. Uh, his children are there, and one day he went there, and then Valmiki has said to Ramachandra that Sita has gone through all austerities. There is no fault at Sita Mata's side. And then when it was the time, and then Sita Mata could not bear anymore further, and she has called for Bhumi Devi, and Bhumi Devi came there, and then she has taken Sita Mata back to herself. So, and then Ramchandra has taken two children, Lava and Kusha, back to his kingdom. So that is the small pastimes in a summary way. But Ramchandra has ruled the kingdom for 11,000 years. But here, how many years Sita Devi was accompanying Ramchandra? It is very less, very less. But we celebrate Sita Rama Kalyanam very jubilantly. But that is presence of Sita Mata here. While in Valmiki's words, it is mentioned that it is the Sitayaha Sitayaha Charitam Mahat. So it is the story of Sita. Instead of Ramayana, it is the Sitayaha Charitam Mahat. It is the great story of Sita. Okay, so that is the summary, but still took much of time. So another event is the appearance day of Srimati Jahnava Devi. So Jahnava Devi and Vasudha, they are the two daughters of the so Surjadas. So so there is a beautiful pastimes again, and ISKCON.com. Again, it is so beautiful, but so I shall try to read a few paragraphs only. Shri Surjadas Surekela was a resident of Shaligram. So he had five brothers: Damodar, Jagannath, Gauridas, Krishnadas, and Nrisimha Chaitanya. His father's name was Shri Kamsari Mishra. His mother's name Shri Kamala Devi. He received the title Sarakela as he used to keep the accounts for the king Gauradesh. So his two daughters were named Shri Vasudha and Shri Jahnava, who was the youngest. In Gaur Ganadesh Deepika, it is stated that they are the expansions of Varuni and Revati. In Vrindavan and Sujidas Sarakela, whose body effulgence is like the sun, is an expansion of Kukudmi, the king of Raivat. The two lords, Gauranga and Nityananda, were very affectionate to them. Seeing that his two daughters had reached the full bloom of their youth, he began to contemplate their marriage. Thinking in this way, he fell asleep. In his dream, he saw that in a very happy mood he was presenting his two daughters to Nityananda Prabhu. Having seen such a wonderful dream, he began to float in an ocean of bliss. In the morning, when he awoke, he told his dream to one Brahmana friend of his. I saw in my dream that Nityananda Prabhu is none other than Baladeva. His bodily effulgence was shining in all directions, and his body was decorated with various shining ornaments. On either side of him, my two daughters appeared as Varuni and Revati. Now I cannot give my daughters in marriage to Nityanand Prabhu, then there will be no peace for me. Having confided in his friend, in this way, he sent him to the house of Srivasa Pandit in Navadvip. That Brahmana came to Navadvip very quickly and found that Nityananda Prabhu was living at the Srivas Pandit's house. The Brahmana explained everything in detail to Srivas Pandit, who later, at the proper time, divulged all of this news to Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Nityananda, having assured the Brahmana that he would fulfill the desire of Surjadas, sent him back to Shaligram. Advaita Acharya as well as Srivasa Pandit were very happy to have heard this news and urged that the marriage take place as soon as possible. The Brahmana, in the meantime, having returned to Shaligram, delivered this auspicious news to Surjadas, who was overjoyed that his dream would now come true. So, in the village of Borgachi lived the son of Raja Harihora, Shri Krishnadas, who was a very dear devotee of Nityananda Prabhu. So he offered to bear all of the expenses for the wedding and to have it conducted at his house. With his mind, he requested Nityananda Prabhu to kindly come to his house, and after bringing him there, he began to make the necessary arrangements for the wedding. Srivas Pandit, Shri Advaita Acharya, Shri Chandrasekhara, Shri Murari Gupta, and many other devotees all arrived and began Harinam Sankirtan. Surjadas Pandit's brother, Shri Krishnadas, soon arrived at Bodhachi, and then Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees accompanied him to Shaligrama. When Surjadas saw that the devotees along with Nityananda Prabhu had arrived, in great happiness, he came out to greet them and then ushered them into his house where he offered his dandavats to Lord Nityananda. Surja fell down at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, his eyes brimming with tears of ecstatic love. He caught hold of his lotus feet and wanted to offer some prayers, but he could not express anything due to being overcome by ecstatic emotions. Lord Nityananda smiled sweetly and embraced him in great love. Sujadas was always absorbed in intense happiness. Who can understand his inner self? Seeing these loving pastimes of his brother, Gauridas lost his patience and felt great bliss within himself. Then, after worshipping the two lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, he offered his two daughters in marriage to him. So, in such a way, Jahnava Mata and Vasudha Mata got married to Nityananda Prabhu. So, later on, just to summarize the later parts, Nityanand Prabhu along with the two wives, and then he was going to Srivas Pandit's home and Advaita Acharya's home and a few other devotees' home, and while performing Sankirtana, it was so beautiful. And then later on in her later ages, after the disappearance of Sri Advaita Acharya, and Shri Nityanand Prabhu, Srivas Pandit, and various other associates of Shri Gaurasundar, three especially empowered manifestations of the compassion of Lord Mahaprabhu, namely Srinivasacharya, Narottama Das Thakur, and Mahasaya, uh, and Shyamananda Prabhu. So those three personalities continue to flood the land with Harinam Sankirtan. Shri Nityananda Prabhu Shakti Shri Jahnava Mata was especially requested by these three acharyas to be present at the celebrated festival which was conducted by them at Keturi Gram under the patronage of Narottamadas Thakur Mahasaya's cousin Raja Santosh Datta. So present with her were Sri Krishnadas Mishra, her uncle Menaketana Ramadas, Murari Chaitanya, and Jnanadas, Sri Parameshwari Das, Balarama Das, Sri Brindavan Das Thakur, and other dear devotees of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So these are they have got association of Jahnava Mata. Okay, so there is further, it is in I will send these links in the group. There is a lot of information. That is the second event. And third event is the disappearance day of the Madhu Pandit. So there is no mention of Shri Madhu Pandit in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Only it is mentioned in Bhakti Ratnakara that Shri Gopinath Ji manifested himself before him. O Srinivas, what more can I say? The Lord reveals himself to his pure devotee, who then preaches his glories to the world. Who can describe their incomprehensible activities by which the Lord becomes subservient to their love? Thus did Sri Vrajendra Kumar reveal himself to Paramananda Bhattacharya and Sri Madhu Pandit, who is the abode of many wonderful qualities. Thus has Sri Gopinath Ji, who is an ocean of mercy and who sports on the enchantingly beautiful banks of Vamsivat, become manifested by the grace of Sri Madhu Pandit. Thus, Sri Madhu Pandit became the servant of Sri Gopinath, whose bodily luster steals away the minds of everyone. Hundreds and thousands of people came running to see him, fanned as he is as sweetness personified. When the soothing sweetness and coolness of his charming form entered their hearts through their eyes, they found that the burning fire of material existence, which had previously been burning there, was now extinguished. Paramananda Bhattacharya and Madhu Pandit were disciples of Gadadhar Pandita, one of the most intimate devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Madhu Pandita would read Srimad Bhagavatam every day. So again, there are a few lines, so it would be a few more paragraphs. Okay, so there's one statement, Srila Gopinatha, who originated the transcendental melody of the Rasa dance, stands on the shore in Vamsivata and attracts the attention of the covered damsels with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Okay, this is some pastimes about Madhu Pandit. And also there is a story about the temple that Srimati Jahnava Devi, the wife of Nityananda, came to Vrindavana, and she came to the evening aratis at the Radha Gopinath temple. Suddenly Gopinath jumped off the altar and took Jahnava Devi onto the altar and closed the curtains. When the assembled Vaishnavas opened the curtain, Jahnava Devi was gone and Gopinath was standing on the altar. Okay, so that is very beautiful thing to see that one. I will send this link also in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so that is from the events perspective. So beautiful and detailed events. So for now, we shall move to daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Buddha was speaking to Vidura about pastimes of Krishna. So he was mentioning about the how unfortunate the people of this material world, and specifically even the Adavas, though they understand Krishna as the super soul of everyone, they could not understand he is the original personality of Godhead. And then later on saying that, coming to another statement, like devotees of the Lord who are surrendered souls, they would not be deviated even though some atheistic people are coming and try to dissuade them. So likewise, only devotees of the Lord understands the Lord's pastimes. So saying that, um, later on he is trying to explain that Krishna, he has appeared in his beautiful form, so that everyone can see that beautiful form. But at the same time, people who has not done enough austerities and penances, and from their eyesight, the Lord has removed himself, the manifested form, and then he returned back to his abode. Likewise, Uddhava is saying, so the way how Krishna has uh, disappeared from the earth. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 2, verse number 11. प्रदर्श्यातप्ततपसाम् अविप्तदृ अवितृप्तदृशां नृणाम् आदायान्त अद अदाध्यस्तु स्वबिम्बं लोकलोचनम्. Pradasya atapta tapasam. Pradasya, so the Lord's manifested form, exhibited beautiful form with a two-handed form. Pradasya, by exhibiting his form, uh, later on what he has done, atapta tapasam vitrupta drusham runam. Atapta, without undergoing tapasam, with those penances, who have not done any penances and austerities. Avipta drusham, without fulfillment of vision of those persons. Without fulfilling. So this is not possible for everyone to see the Lord or get association with the Lord. It is mentioned Krita Punya Punjaha Ittam Satam Brahma Sukhanubhutya Dasim Gatanam Paradaivatena Dasim Gatanam Paradaivatena Mayashitanam Naradharakena Naradharakena. So they sakam vijahruhu kruta punya punjaha. To get association of the Lord, they should have done so many austerities and penances. So here, after exiting his form, atapta tapasam, and without going any penances, avitrupta drusham runam, avitrupta drusham runam, without fulfilling vision to those persons. And what Lord has done? Adayantaha adadyastu, and he disappeared. Adayantaha adadyastu, he has disappeared from the sight of those people who have not done any penances and austerities without fulfillment of his vision. And Swabhimbam Lokalochanam, and Swabhimbam, his own form, and Lokalochanam, public vision. So likewise, Uddhava is saying, Pradarsya atatta tapasam aviptra dusham runam adayantaha adabhyastu swabhimbam lokalochanam. The translation for this verse. Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him, as he is due to not executing required penance. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so can I request Gaurangi Mataji to read this purport, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. In this verse, the word Abid, Abhidharma darshan is the most significant. The conditions sold in the material world are all trying to satisfy their sense in various ways, but they have failed to do so because it is impossible to be satisfied fed by such offers. The example of the fish on land is a very appropriate. If one takes a fish from the water and puts it on the land, it cannot be made happy by any amount of offered pleasure. The spirit soul can be happy only in the um, association of the supreme living being in personality of Godhead, uh, and nowhere else. The Lord, by His unlimited, causeless mercy, has innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the Brahma Jyoti sphere of the spiritual world. And in that transcendental world, there is an unlimited arrangement for the unlimited pleasure of the living entities. The Lord Himself comes to display His transcendental pastime, typically represented at Vrindavana, Mathura, and Dwarka. He appears just to attract the uh, condition souls back to Godhead, back home to the eternal world. But for want of sufficient piety, the onlookers are not erected by such pastimes of the Lord. And Bhagavad Gita, it is said that only those who have completely surpass the way of the sinful recitation can engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The entire Vedic way of ritualistic performance is to put every condition soul on the path of pity by strict adherence to the um, prescribed principles for all order of social life. One can attain and qualities of truthfulness, control of the mind, control of the sense, forbearance, etc., and can be elevated to the plan of rendering pure devotional service to the Lord. Only by such a transcendental vision are one's material hankerings fully satisfied. Satisfied. Yeah. When the Lord was present, persons who were able to satisfy their material hankering by seeing Him in the true perspective were those able to go back with him to this kingdom. But those persons who were unable to see the Lord as he is reminded, attached to material hankering, and were not able to go back home, back to Godhead. When the Lord passed beyond the vision of all, he did so in his original internal form, as stated in this verse. The Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body as is generally understood by the conditioned souls. This statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non-devotees that the Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. The Lord appeared in order to realize the word from the undue burden of the non-believing assurance. And after doing this, he disappeared from the world's eyes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
forgive me. I read a lot of mistake, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Thank you, Mataji, for beautifully reading. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so here Prabhupada is describing this particular statement, this verse, who has not done any austerities and penances. So they could not get association of the Lord, or they could not see the Lord. So they are called Avipta Drusham Grunam. Avipta Drusham is most significant. Conditioned souls in the material world are all trying to satisfy their senses in various, but they have failed to do so because it is impossible to be satisfied by such efforts. And so this one, so Krishna has not showed his form to such kind of people who has not gone through penances. It is the example of the fish and land is very appropriate. If one takes fish from the water and puts it on the land, it cannot be made happy by any amount of offered pleasure. The spirit soul can be happy only in the association of the supreme living being, the personality of God, and nowhere else. The Lord, by his unlimited causeless mercy, has innumerable Vaikuntha plans in the Brahma Jyoti sphere of the spiritual world. In that transcendental world, there is an unlimited arrangement for the unlimited pleasure of the living entities. So this is all the living entities desire for this kind of happiness. So like a fish should be in the water so that it will be happy. If we just bring fish out of the water and give all kinds of nice bed and all food things, but still it is not happy. That is the situation of our conditioned souls. Now, everyone are trying to get the comforts, but they are forgetting about the real happiness. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning that by the causeless mercy, so there are so many Vaikuntha planets. They exist in the Brahma Jyoti sphere of the spiritual world. It is for the all the living entities waiting. So, but here it is our opportunity to whether we need to go there or not, or just rotten in this material world. Okay, so whenever he appears, he canvas his pastimes and then try to attract the conditioned souls. So let us go back. But who are all fortunate, who has gone through these austerities and penances, free from the sinful activities, they only can come to Krishna consciousness and then progress in the bhakti and go back to the Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavan. येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां तेद्बन्धमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ति मां दृढव्रताः who are free from tesham twantagatam papam antagatam papam who are completely free from the sinful activities papas they only can come to Krishna consciousness and also durapahya alpatapasah seva vaikunthavatmasu so does that ends there just without the papas but also on top of that one has to go through the austerities and penances as well. Durapahya alpatapasah seva vaikunthavatmasu yatropi gite nityam deva deva janardanaha and who has not gone through austerities and penances, they are called alpatapasah. They cannot get entrance into the yatropi gite nityam deva deva janardanaha. And wherever there is the glories of the Lord is being happening, like the temples and bhajans, kutis, and all these Harinam Sankirtana, there also they cannot get entrance. Because Alpatapasa, Drapahi is the so unfortunate people. though they are given material body so that they can carry out this process, devotional service, perform. This body is meant for austerities and penances. Tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam Sudyajasmat Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam. Brahma Saukyam. This is Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam Anantam. Unlimited arrangement. This is unlimited. Brahma Saukyam Tvanantam. This is Rishabhadev says to his children. So, but people, they are called misers, krupanaha, but they misuse. They wanted to gratify their senses. I wanted to accumulate money. I wanted to look after my children, family, house, and paraphernalia, and relatives and friends. I wanted to enjoy. So, I'm a human being. Why not I have enjoyment here? So, likewise, they put so many questions. If we say just why don't you chant, they will put so many things, hundreds of reasons for that. But here they do not understand. They could not digest that their body will be vanished in due course of time. So such kind of people are called kurpanaha, misers. Whereas the Brahmana is generous. He understands the body is temporary and he needs to engage in the service of the Lord. Okay, so here later on the Lord comes to display his transcendental pastimes, typically represented at Vrindavana, Madhura, and Dwaraka. He appears just to attract the conditioned souls back to Godhead, back home to the eternal world. But for want of sufficient piety, the onlookers are not attracted by such pastimes of the Lord. See, this is again because due to the less austerities and penances. So, Janma karma च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मां येति सोऽर्जुन. Who understands my divine pastimes, O Arjuna? They do not take birth again in this material world, which is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is dukkha dosha anudarshanam. All the time that we have to go through all kinds of pains, but for some time after going through working and working and working, if we get salary, and then we will be happy and spend money for some kind of shoppings and movies, and then he will forget all those. But that is not the happiness. So happiness is the Brahmasvokyam Tvanantam, unlimited pleasure. It is on the transcendental plane. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that only those who have completely surpassed the way of sinful reaction can engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is Tesham Tvantagatam Papam, Yesham Tvantagatam Papam, Jananam Punyakarmanam, Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta, Bhajante Mam Dhruvrataha. So completely free from the duality of this material world, then Bhajanti Mam Dhruvrataha. This is the great determination to uh, engage in the devotional service. So the entire Vedic way of ritualistic performances is to put every conditioned soul on the path of piety. So our this is Varnashrama Dharma. It is constructed in such a way by Chaturvarnyamaya system Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. The Lord has arranged this one system. For what? Atah Pumbid Vijsreshta अतः पुंबे द्विजश्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वनिष्ठस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर हरितोषणम. Everything is meant for haritoshanam, so that when they are engaging in their duties, gradually their consciousness will be increased and attracted towards Krishna. So this is the austerities we have practically seen in our day-to-day lives from our childhoods. Who have gone those austerities and penances, they only become the devotees in later ages, but not otherwise. People think that once we have retired, then we will engage ourselves. No, that cannot be possible. We see the people who thought that later on, as soon as they get retired, they will get sleep and eat and then just walk in a park and then come home, eat and sleep and watch TV and sleep. That's all they can do. But because they have not done those austerities, practically we have in a village where I have born, I have seen this kind of conceptions. Once we get retired, why are you doing devotional service in this age? Why have done? But people who have not done in the later ages, who thought that we will do it after the retirement, they are all doing like that. So eating, sleeping, watching TV, just wandering in the parks and come. They cannot get attraction to read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and here get the association of the devotees. They cannot even like it. That is the situation of the conditioned souls. But who have gone through these austerities, like if the festival is coming, so many festivals in a year, if festivals are actually who are observing those festivals, they have got an opportunity to render service to the Lord, and then later on they are able to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is the Vedic way. So by strict adherence to the prescribed principles for all orders of social life, one can attain the qualities of truthfulness, control of the mind, control of the senses, forbearance. So this is control of the mind, control of the senses, forbearance, and truthfulness. And these are the qualities. And then one can be elevated to the plane of rendering pure devotional service to the Lord. First, one has to have these qualities. Then only he will be eligible, elevated to the plane of rendering pure devotional service to the Lord. Otherwise, if without going through these austerities and penances, controlling the senses, it is not possible to come into devotional service. Again, devotional service is of the two levels. One is the Mishra Bhakti and one is the Shuddha Bhakti. Mishra Bhakti, before we control anything and being truthfulness, being controlling the senses, before we also go to the temple, see the darshan and do some charity there. It is trying to acquire pious activity. That is not yet the Shuddha Bhakti yet. So still going on, but on what particular time, be gradually doing it, then he will get the association of the pure devotees. Then he understands the tattva. Later on, he would engage himself into these qualities, trying to acquire truthfulness, control of the mind, control of the senses, forbearance, and then be elevated to the plane of rendering pure devotional service. This is Shuddha Bhakti. That is the real Bhakti. ब्रह्मभूतः प्रसन्नात्मा न सोच्यति न काङ्क्षति समसर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते भराम. This is called Brahmabhota. One has to come to the Brahmabhota stage. Then na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu. He sees all living entities are of the same. Then mad bhaktim labhate bharam. That pure devotional service will be happening in such a devotee. Only by such transcendental vision are one's material hankerings fully satisfied. So this one is a practical experience. Once who is engaging the pure devotional service, then he will see all his material hankerings fully satisfied. He does not want to acquire more money or more friends or appliances, anything. He is fully satisfied. Then it continues. That is the spiritual journey. If we wanted to go to the Vrindavan, we cannot stay there. Even if we just go, it will be only material vision. But one who has acquired that kind of status, then he will go Vrindavan and then experience that bliss. And when the Lord was present, persons who are able to satisfy their material hankerings by seeing him in true perspective were thus able to go back with him to his kingdom. See, this is they were able to satisfy material hankerings by seeing him in true perspective were thus able to go back with him to his kingdom. This is Punya Punjaha. But those persons who were unable to see the Lord as he is remained attached to material hankerings and were not able to go back home, back to Godhead. See, this is because they have got attachment. When the Lord passed beyond the vision of all, he did so in his original eternal form, as stated in this verse. This is the Swabhimbam Lokalochanam. Adayantaha Adadyastu Swabhimbam Lokalochanam. He has disappeared in his original eternal form, as stated in this verse. So the Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body as is generally misunderstood by the conditioned souls. So this statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non-devotees that the Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. The Lord appeared in order to release the world from the undue burden of the non-believing asuras, and after doing this, he disappeared from the world's eyes. So here, what do we understand from the statements? If we see, when Krishna has exhibited, he has expanded his innumerable forms. He has expanded, for example, when he was in the Vrindavana, in the Brahma Vimohana Leela, so he could expand himself into so many Gopa bikes and calves to bewilder Brahma. We can see how Krishna can manifest and expand himself. It is inconceivable. Later on, when he is getting married, during the marriage of the Satya, the daughter of, I think, Bhadra, Satya or Bhadra. So during that time, he has expanded himself to control the 7 bulls during the Swayamvara of the Satya, not Satyabhama, Satya. So at that time, he has expanded himself into 7 Krishnas and then conquered. Later on, during his marriage with 16,100 wives, so at that time, they were in the all these princes were in the prison of Bhaumasura. And then when Krishna killed Bhaumasura, so and all these princes wanted to marry Krishna. Krishna accepted all of them. And then he looked after them. Etah param sritmu apasta peshalam nirstasachu. He accepted, even though they are not pure, but by his association, they became very pure. So this one is explained by the Kauravendra Purstrinam Sarvasuti Manohara. They have, while glorifying Krishna when he was going from Hastinapur to Dwaraka, in their own statements, Etah Param Sritma Pasta Peshalam Nirsta Sadhu, but likewise, one statement, and Krishna never leaves his wives, all 16,108 wives. He is always present with each and every wife in their homes, and then he used to give all kinds of presents. Likewise, he made everyone happy, all of his wives at the same time. So one Krishna is present everywhere. So just I'm trying to bring how one can understand. So later on, in the Dwaraka pastimes, there is again pastimes of one Brahmana's son. He used to beget a child, and then as soon as the child was born, and he used to die. And then the Brahmana goes to the this Sudharma Sabha, where Krishna, Balram, and Ugrasena everyone are present, and he used to say, "I have not done any mistakes in my life, but still, as soon as my child is born, and he is getting died." So for this one, because there is no fault at my side, so it must be the fault of the king. So he was rebuking everyone in the assembly. So there is Krishna is present, Balram is present. Likewise, all of children were uh, getting died, and then he's come and then criticize everyone, including Krishna and Balram. But Krishna and Balram were silent. But on one day, Arjuna was present there, and Arjuna was hearing those Brahmanas' words. He could not tolerate those words, but he said that I will come and protect your child. And then so Brahmana says, could you protect child? Are you giving promise like that? Even the Krishna and Balrama here. So Arjuna says, I'm not Krishna, I'm not Balram, I'm not Shiva. He's saying many things, and then finally Brahmana said, oh, okay, then come and try to protect. So I'll call you when my wife is pregnant and ready to give birth. So the time has come. Arjuna was there guarding, and using Arjuna's skills, he has protected the home of Brahmana with his arrows, so that not even air can pass through. So even Yamadharmaraj also cannot enter. Likewise, he has arranged like that. And then now, as planned, so now Brahmana's wife gave birth to the child, and as soon as child is born, and then he died again. Now Arjuna is waiting outside. Now the Brahmana is saying again, Arjuna was wondering, he could not understand what is happening. The Brahmana again coming and trying to criticize Arjuna that you have given your promise, but you did not keep your promise. Then Arjuna wanted to enter into the fire. At the time, Krishna comes that Arjuna, don't do this. So I know what is happening. So at the time, Krishna took Arjuna in his chariot, going out of the universe, crossing this universe is of the 7 layers. This is our Earth is there, which is around we are in between the universe. That universe coverings, the shell of the universe, it is having the 7 layers. The first layer is the earth, water, fire, air, ether, false ego, and Mahatattva. Those are the 7 layers of the universe. They have pieced these 7 layers and entered into the Brahma Jyoti. So out of this universe, so there is the Karana ocean, which is also called Virija river. And once they cross that one, it is the Brahma Jyoti, where so many Vaikuntha planets are there. And within the Karana ocean, Karanodaka Sai Vishnu lives. Karanodaka Sai Vishnu is the one from whose bodily so many universes are coming out. So Krishna has taken Arjuna out of this universe. So during that time, the 4 horses of Krishna also they could not pass through due to the so much of darkness. And then he has used his Sudarsana Chakra, so which was so enlightening with thousands of suns are blazing at the same time. And then they were able to pass through. And then they have entered into the abode of the Karnodak Sai Vishnu. And as soon as they entered, Arjuna was in order to teach Arjuna, so Krishna also was offering his obeisances to Karnodak Sai Vishnu, and also Arjuna also did Dandavat Pranam, and there they could see the Brahmana's children are in that palace. So where goddess of fortune is there, and so they were very happy. Later on, Karnodak Sai Vishnu speaks to Krishna, saying that, "Oh Krishna, I would like to see yourself and Arjuna, both of you. You are none other than Naranarayan. So I would like to see. That's why I have taken all the children with me. So this is the purpose. It is not that a Brahmana was sinful or his children are dying for some other reason. It is the pastime of Karnodak Sai Vishnu and Krishna and Arjuna. And then later on, Krishna has taken those children, and then Arjuna was wounded and then taken back to the Dwarka, and then he has given these 10 children to Brahmana. Brahmana was happy. So why I have said this is the Krishna's inconceivable activity. He was able to go and take even Arjuna outside of the universe in their own bodies, original bodies as they are. And Krishna could expand himself into innumerable forms without any effort. So here, what we understand, Lord has left in his own body. He did not leave his body as he is generally misunderstood by conditioned souls. This statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non-devotees that Lord passed away like an ordinary conditioned soul. In the Mahabharata, there is a story, it comes like that is Itihasa. Mahabharata is the Itihasa. So during the last times of Yadu dynasty's annihilation, they have killed each other. Krishna also participated in killing of some of the Yadus, and Balram also participated later on after seeing killing of all the Yadu dynasty. So Krishna and Balram, they wanted to retire. And it was the time, and then Balram, he went there and sit in a posture and observed in the deep meditation. From his body, a white snake come and entered into the ocean. And Krishna, he further let observing that Balram has left, he went to a nearby a young peepal tree or Ashwatha tree, and he sit under the Ashwatha tree, so keeping his leg on top of another leg. So during that time, the hunter, who is also called Jara, so he misunderstood that Krishna's feet is like a deer, and then he has used arrow and touched the the toe, left leg toe, and then he come to that point. Then he observed that it is Krishna, and then he said that do not worry. So and then he was very afraid that he has used arrow. Do not worry about it. So now you go back to Vaikuntha. So likewise, he has got four-handed form, and then he went back to the Vaikuntha. Later on, Daruka comes searching for his master in his chariot, the same Krishna's chariot. So as soon as he comes, then Krishna's in that condition, Dwarka also observing, and he was also bewildered. During that time, Krishna has got four-handed form, and with all his weapons. Now chariot has also come along with the chariot and his gada and everything. So they're all, even the horses, they're just moving into the sky, and in front of the Daruka, they all got disappeared. And knowing that, Krishna said to Daruka that Daruka is the chariot driver of Krishna. And don't be bewildered by looking at these pastimes. So now you go to the Dwarka and they explain to my father Vasudeva and mother Devaki and everyone else, saying that within the 7 days, this Dwarka is going to be sunk in the water. And then ask them to just to move out. So later on, Arjuna also comes to that point. Arjuna knows what to do. So saying that that was the pastime, uh, Krishna has departed. And Arjuna, later on, he come to that point where Krishna and Balaram, their bodies are present. So looking at Krishna's and Balaram's bodies, so he was bit disturbed and he was crying. And then with so much of burdened heart, he took Krishna's body and Balaram's body, put it in the sandalwood, those things, and he burnt. That thing we could see in the Mahabharata. So uh, let me just see that one. So in the Mahabharata, this one, it comes here. Mahabharata, it is the Itihasa. So deliverance. So here it comes like Pandavas return. Where is the Bhishma's instruction? Krishna returns Vidra's instructions. Next one is the Krishna returns to Dwaraka. Yudhishthira's Ashwamedh. Vidra instructs Dhritarashtra, the Pandavas retire. So this is the Pandavas retired where send um, just just trying to find a keyword so that to see the Krishna's pastimes. Arjuna Kuni, he described how Krishna himself had departed when all the Yadavas and other warriors died. So this one where Arjuna, so here it says, when he saw son Pradyumna killed, Krishna became angry. He took up a handful of reeds and were growing nearby, and in such a way they have killed some others, and they were lying like iron dots, and Krishna wielded them and like deadly weapons. He quickly slew all the men and who had killed his son. Other Yadavas and Vishnus took up their weapons and entered the fray. Soon violent battle was raging. When their weapons had been smashed, they too took up the reeds, bewildered by wine and influenced by Gandhari's and Rishi's curses. They killed one another without compunction. Father killed son, son slew father, and brother killed brother. Likewise, everyone died. And only Krishna and Balram survived, along with Daruka, who carried the news back to Dwaraka. So Arjuna passed his narration. His mind was confounded and he recounted the story. He knew that it had been Krishna's desire. So this is explained here. And, and this is the only way that otherwise Yadu family cannot be killed that much easily. So Krishna arranged this one. So here, this is what is happening. Seeing Balrama depart, Krishna entered a nearby forest. So this is again. So let me see to this. He described how Krishna himself had departed. When all the Yadavas and other warriors died, Krishna had watched Balarama sit down in meditation on the seashore. As Balarama became absorbed in trance, as the many-hooded divine serpent Anantashesha had come out of his mouth, worshipped by Varuna and other gods, the serpent went towards the ocean and vanished. Seeing Balarama depart, Krishna entered a nearby forest. He sat beneath the pipala tree in meditation. As he did so, The principal gods all approached him invisibly. They all desired to see his last pastime on earth. Not far from where Krishna sat, there was a hunter. The man had caught a large fish and found its belly in a lump of iron, the last remnant of the iron ball thrown into the sea. With a lump, he had fashioned an arrowhead. While hunting with arrow, he came across Krishna. By Krishna's own illusory energy, he mistook Krishna's foot to be an animal, seeing it from the distance through the bushes. He released the arrow and struck the Krishna's foot, whereupon Lord departed from the world, worshipped by the gods with Brahma at their head. So here all demigods are there, Brahma, including Brahma. And he had been told that he would find Arjuna there and then he should ask him to take women to Indraprastha. When Daruka reached the city, he went to Krishna's father Vasudeva and told him the heartbreaking news. Along with Devaki, Vasudeva fell to the ground in a faint, tormented by separation from Krishna. They both gave up their lives. Arjuna had recently arrived in Dwarka, was himself overpowered by sorrow when he heard that what had happened, but he tried to follow Krishna's directions. He had first arranged for Vasudeva and Devaki's funeral ceremonies. However, when funeral pyre was ablaze, Vasudeva's other wives entered the fire, wrapped in thought of Krishna. Arjuna then traveled to the Prabhasa in order to perform the last rites for all the slain warriors. Millions of men had died, and it took weeks for Arjuna to arrange for funeral ceremonies for those who had no male members left in the family. The women folk were brought from the Shankodhara, and as the cremations took place, many widows entered the fire embracing their lords, thus attaining the same destinations reached by those men and finding Krishna and Balrama's bodies. So this is the part I wanted to. Arjuna marveled at the sight. Their bodies still shone with the same brilliant effulgence as they had in life. Arjuna could understand that it was not possible for them to die. Their apparent death was simply a display of Krishna's illusory energy. Both Krishna and Balaram were manifestations of the original transcendent supreme. Arjuna concluded that the material bodies they left behind were simply meant to bewilder the faithless. The Lord was merciful even to those who desired to be atheists. Stupefied by grief and moving like a wooden doll, Arjuna arranged for expert priests to cremate the bodies of the two lords. Rukmini and Krishna's other principal queens ascended the funeral pyre and gave up their lives. So when all the funeral ceremonies were completed, Arjuna returned to Dwaraka. He arranged for remaining women and children and Brahmins, Vaishyas and Sudras to be taken in chariots to Indraprastha. So Krishna had told Dwarka that the city would soon be inundated by sea. Arjuna was concerned to get everyone out first. They made a sorry procession, wailing and calling out Krishna's names as they left Dwarka. Even while they were leaving the city, the ocean began to flood the land. Looking behind them, they saw waves crashing into the great island fortress and swirling through its streets and houses. Okay, so this is again there is further pastimes. So this is what I wanted to explain to mention this. So Arjuna could understand that it was not possible for them to die. Their apparent death was simply a display of Krishna's illusory energy and for the atheistic purpose. So Krishna was merciful to those who desired to be atheists. Stupefied by grief and moving like the wooden doll, Arjuna arranged for expertise to cremate the bodies of the two lords. Okay, that is the statement from the Mahabharata perspective. So here Prabhupada's statement, the Lord left in his own body. He did not leave his body as is generally misunderstood by the conditioned souls. So it is by Lord's illusory energy. So this statement defeats the false propaganda of the faithless non-devotees that the Lord passed away like an ordinary conditional soul. So the Lord appeared in order to release the world from the undue burden of the non-believing asuras. And after doing this, he disappeared from the world of ice. So Krishna could expand in number of forms. He can go, and also there is another pastimes that Krishna has appeared in two Krishna forms. One is in the one Krishna to Yashoda, one Krishna to Devaki. One Krishna to Yashoda, one Krishna to Devaki. So Devaki is Krishna. So he was taken by Vasudeva to bring back to this Vrindavana, where the both Krishnas became one Krishna, and they lived there. The same one Krishna lived there and performed all the pastimes. And when it was the time for Akrura to take Krishna back to Madura for the on the request of Kamsa, so during that time Vasudeva Krishna has returned back to Madura. So and then but Vrinda Yashoda Krishna he is still there, but not in the physical that everyone could see and perform the pastimes, but he was in his spiritual form, but he was present with all the gopis as usual before. But gopis could experience those pastimes, though present Krishna's physical body was not directly present, but they can experience those pastimes. That was we can hear those things from the Vrindavanas, Vrajavasis, and also some of our acharyas they describe that. So this is Vrindavan Krishna, Devaki Krishna, Yashoda Krishna, and Devaki Krishna. Okay, so this is a little bit deep to go inside, but just what I have explained, Krishna can expand innumerable forms, and also how he can bewilder the atheist also by his external energy. But originally, the Lord has left in his own body. He did not leave his body as is generally misunderstood by conditioned souls. Okay, so hope that clears. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is Uddhava is mentioning to Vidura. Pradasya 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 atapta tapasam avipta dusham runam adayantaha adhadyastu swabhimbam lokalochanam. So the Lord has removed his form from the sight of the atheistic or not devotees, or who has not done enough austerities and penances. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Okay, we shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today letter to Brahmananda and Gargamuni, July 31st, 1970, Los Angeles. Okay, so can I request Brother Sachi Mataji, would you like to read this letter if you are available?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, okay. that My dear Brahmananda Maharaj and Gauramuni Maharaj, please accept my blessing. I am in due receipt of your two nice letters along with the Xerox copy of press meeting. Satyaswarupa has sent me the original signed copy and I have replied him separately. In order to set example to my other sannyasi student, I am personally going to Japan with the party of three other sannyasi students. Although it is beyond my physical condition, still I am going out so that you may learn the responsibility of sannyasi. Yesterday, Karanandara presented me a check signed by you for a $4,000 in my favor, but I have countersigned in favor of ISKCON LA as they have already purchased our worldwide ticket. I am starting next week sometime. I have asked Tamala to come here and Hayagriva to come here. Rupanuga, Bhagavan Dash, and Kirtananda Maharaj are already here. So I am uh, fervently appealing to you all not to create fracture in the solid body of the society. Please work conjointly without any personal ambition that will help the cause. It It is the injunction of the Vedas that the spiritual master should not be treated as ordinary man, even if sometimes the spiritual master behaves like ordinary man. It is the duty of the disciple to accept him as superhuman man. In the beginning of your letter, your comparison of the soldier and commander is very appropriate. We are on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. One side Maya, the other side Krishna. So the regulative principle of battlefield, namely to abide by the order of the commander, must be followed. Otherwise, it is impossible to direct the fighting capacity of the soldier and those the opposing elements. Kindly, therefore, take a courage. You are capable in so many ways. Let things be rightly done so that our mission may be correctly pushed forward to come out victorious. Your ever well-wisher, ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any points you wanted to highlight, Mataji? Take a point.
In like Prabhupada, I think Prabhupada's physical condition was not good. Still, like to show the other, like sannyasi students and other devotee, how can be a responsibility should be carried out. He want to show everyone. So he's like. He's going uh going to teach everyone and traveling to other countries when still his body is like not good. And I think in the last, like, we should not think that the spiritual master is an ordinary man. He said that sometime even a spiritual master can behave like an ordinary man. Still, we should not think he's a common, like a ordinary man. Uh, that all of the disciple of we should think that the spiritual master is a superman, not ordinary man. So Prabhupada said here the uh, all are in, like, we are on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. One side is Maya and other side is Krishna. So if we follow the regulative principle given by like spiritual master, and if we follow it sincerely, then we can like conquer the Maya. This is all, I think, Prabhuji. Sorry. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very beautifully explained. So, we are all the soldiers. Every soldier need a commander. So, if soldier goes alone, then we will be defeated by Maya. Maya has got so innumerable kinds of uh, ways to defeat us. It is the Daivihi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dhrityaya Mam Yevi Prapadyante Mayam Yetam Tarantite. And that is Krishna's statement. It is very difficult to fight with Maya. Mama Maya Dhrityaya. And Krishna says that Acharya Mam Vijaniyat Na Avamanyeta Karhechet. Namatya Bujja Asoyeta Sarvadeva Mayo Guruhu. This is the verse that we have learned on Saturday. This is the Acharya Mam Vijaniyat Na Avamanyeta Karhechet Namatya Bujja Asuyeta Sarvadeva Mayo Guruhu. The body of the Guru, it is the Sarvadeva Maya, all the demigods existing in it. And one has to know that spiritual master is Acharya Mam Vijaniyat. One has to know that Acharya is myself. Spiritual master is myself. So one should not disrespect him. Na avamanyata karhichet at any point of time. Na matya bhujja, by the material conception of like he is also like as one of us, like that. So here it is the duty of the disciple to accept him as superman. You beautifully explained, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, likewise, Prabhupada is here again addressing Brahmananda Maharaja and Gargamuni Maharaja. So they are disciples of Srila Prabhupada, but still addressing them. So it seems they have been in the sannyas order as well. Brahmananda and Gargamuni are in the sannyasis. Okay, so and also here one statement Prabhupada is mentioning here about the please work conjointly without any personal ambition that will help the cause. So you not to create fracture in the solid body of the society. So one has to always work together. Okay, that is one statement. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And from the updates point of view, so today evening, that is Monday evening, it is the teachings of Lord Chaitanya at 8 o'clock. That is our upcoming event. And dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. So take a few minutes more. Hare Krishna. If there are no further updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण कॉन्शियस डे एवरीवन
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त